Joining me now with reaction is Bruce Levell, who's a member of Trump's 2020 Advisory Board, and Luis Miranda, who's a former DNC communications director. All right, Luis, there's clearly not, I don't think, a comparison between Biden and Trump on stamina. I just don't, I don't see it. I was actually getting sleepy just listening to Biden. I mean, it's the way he talks.
Like, I've worked with him. And
I'm sorry. I like him as a person. I really do. But for people to say that Trump is like lost a step, I mean, what? I mean, the man has a schedule that most people 30 years younger than he is cannot keep up with. His staff half the time can't keep up with it.
I know a lot of people have his age who can't watch, 3-4 hours of cable television every morning. I agree with you on that one. But I've worked with Joe Biden, and I can tell you that he is someone who has more energy than most of his staff on any given day. He's impressive, and he's also someone who doesn't just delegate everything out. I've seen him make sure that things that are going to be pushed out are actually his words, or actually his work, or actually the types of things
When's
that
the last time you worked
he has
with him?
values on. I worked with him during the White House. I was there for the first 4 years. So I have a lot of respect for him, and I think
that's
he's
a while ago, though.
That's
2008 to 2012.
I've seen him since then. I think he's got the energy and the stamina for it.
All right.
What I think is interesting, though, is to try to focus in on maybe a little bit of a stutter when this is something that he has also championed throughout his career, where he's talked about that as a young boy, he struggled with stuttering. He's worked to overcome it. Public speaking has been the way that he has worked with that.
I don't think that was a stutter. I mean, a stutter. But some of the most brilliant people in the world have had speech impediments and stuttered. So I mean, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Joe Biden of 5 years ago. And everyone changes. I mean, we all change. You age, you change. Some people are just better at aging than others. It's just a fact. And I don't think we know, but what I'm saying is the idea that people are complaining that the question is being raised, Bruce, when CNN, MSNBC, Morning Joe, they spend hours and hours examining Trump's every psychological profile from the armchair psychiatrist office they sit in.
Brother Lewis, I appreciate your optimism, but Uncle Joe is moving kind of slow at the junction, man. I don't see it happening. It's interesting, Laura, because, I remember when you said you almost fell asleep, I started to run and get you a cup of coffee.
Thank you.
But the interesting thing was, during the campaign, I literally watched Corey Lewandowski during 2015. I watched the president run off the plane, sprint to the podium, Corey running a younger guy, 25 years, his junior, trying to chase him. And I've seen this repeatedly. This man has unbelievable stamina, Lewis. I'm serious. I mean,
and a lot of the unhinged behavior also comes.
The only unhinged behavior that I see is Biden coming in is locking up black folk. He had the worst. He co-authored the worst crime bill that just totally.
All right, we're not going to do this crime bill. We want to keep this really focused tonight because I think the voters are going to look at age. I think a lot of young people out there voting for the first time. I mean, we're looking at all these comments from young voters in Iowa today saying, well, it's legitimate. It's legitimate to ask the question. And by the way, it's not just Trump and Biden and their age. We got Bernie Sanders. Let's not forget he's 77, and Elizabeth Warren is going to be 70 soon. So these are, I mean, it's not like this is just the two of them we're talking about. But let's play Biden and Trump back to back. And look, you can pick out any soundbite to make someone seem slow. We're not trying to do that.
Right.
But there's a difference in style, and it'll be interesting to see how the Iowa voters perceive both. Let's watch.
As we used to say in the business, my friend Donald Trump, President Trump is in Iowa today.
Biden, Sleepy Joe group. Sleepy Joe. He was someplace in Iowa today, and he said my name so many times that people couldn't stand it anymore. No, don't keep saying it.
Okay, those are just two moments. Biden was trying to make a joke because in the Senate you say, my dear friend from, and that's usually a kiss of death when you say, my dear friend. That's kind of a funny line. But Trump has this ability to be off the cuff, and I'm sorry, hilarious. He's just hilarious, and that's why people remember Sleepy Joe, Little Marco. Sorry, they just remember it. Can Joe Biden do that kind of thing as well as he used to do it great? Has he changed, Luis? Just honestly, has he changed in that presentation?
Well, I do think that Trump would be a better shock jock radio host.
Okay, fine.
But I will say
former
this.
radio host, I'm not going to talk about
I think it's hilarious that he's criticizing Joe Biden for naming him when he talks about Joe Biden all the time and tweets about him and just can't help but mention him because he's worried about the fact that Joe Biden represents a real threat. Now, look, I'm not here representing any specific candidate, but I can tell you that the reason that Joe Biden has come in with strength is because people see and recognize that he can defeat Donald Trump.
He's going down in
the polling today showed it. it. But the polling.
Oh yeah, well, head-to-head, you know, Trump was down 30 points in the head-to-head in 2015.
He needs a monster drink bad.
All right, and now Biden, by the way, is trying to copy Michael Avenatti's catchphrase, which of course was stolen from a bunch of other people. Watch.
A guy named Langston Hughes, the poet, who said, "Let America be America again," and then a guy who was a foreign policy writer said, "Let America be America again." Well, you know what? We talk about the fact that let's make America great again. I'd settle for just let America be American again.
If you're watching that and think that Biden is snappy, I'm sorry. I mean, everyone has an off night. I have off night. Not usually, but I'm sorry. No, we all have off nights. But this was a big event for him, Luis. He was. The pacing, you got to pick it up.
But part of what you also have to consider is that when you look at his whole speech, and I watched the whole speech before coming on the air tonight, and one of the things that you see is that he does have a folksy style that connects with people.
I like the folksy style.
And I think when you get outside the Beltway, people appreciate that he can talk to them at their level. He can tell them stories. He can engage them on the issues that they care about.
Keep them awake. You got to keep them awake.
He's not doing it in a way that is talking above them. He's talking directly with them and engaging their...
You know why he's all over the radar, Louis? Because he is so, like, he don't know which direction to go because he's been there, what, 50 years? And
all right, guys,
he can't even be himself.
All right, he's flip-flopping. We got to go. But, panel, thank you so much tonight. Great conversation, as always, with both gentlemen.